Thank you for staying with us. The news continues in East Africa, where more than a dozen of African leaders and some of the world's fiercest climate change campaigners are convening in Kenya for the maiden edition of the Africa Climate Summit. The summit in Nairobi kicked off to address Africa's increasing exposure to climate change and its associated costs on the continent. Driving green growth and climate finance solutions for Africa and the world is the theme for the 5-day event being organized by the Kenyan government and African Union. According to the United Nations, Africa accounts for only 2 to 3% of the world's carbon emissions, but has been the continent most affected by global warming. Joining me on the news to discuss this is a Rise Movement Africa member and Program Officer, Green Conservers Tanzania, Ziada Kassimu. Ziada, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Can you tell us the events leading to the Maiden Africa Climate Summit?
Oh, the event, Africa Climate Summit, has been a good and a fruitful session on those side events, and there was a march on morning. Yeah.
We know that Africa accounts for between 2 and 3% of the world's carbon emissions. But then why is it that it affects Africa much in terms of the implications? And what are those implications, if you can talk about that, and how this climate change is actually affecting the African continent? And also, how is Africa doing in terms of this global warming?
Yes, carbon emission, as we know, African country, we only emit from these industries, we emit only 4%. But it seems African country are the most one who are the vulnerable and the most one who affected mostly than other country. And why does this affect more African? Is that because the policies that hinder African country, as we know, we have been global meetings. They have making Paris Agreement, as you know, but it's not being. The agreement was not totally being people taking action on it. I can say that. So Africa, we can, and it's not a bad way, but I can say that the economic level in African country that is the one that affect him. We can't manage those effects or impact in a level that is needed. As you know, climate change has been affect most of African countries, and now it is that level that countries can even more manage themselves. That's why people are fighting for fund for Africa, fund for our future. And the one who should fund this African country, we can say the one or the global North country should help this on that.
Okay, we hope that Africa, Ziada, we hope that Africa will be able to find the will and the financial might to deal with the climate issues. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.